Hello fellow duelists, Mewtwo Overkill here, going to be giving you the bestest, the strongest, and the newest Orichalcos deck profile, based on the new ban list that just came out. I already adjusted the deck. So let's get right into it. So we run double Q-Tora, Orichalcos Q-Tora. I can pay 500 life points to special summon this from my hand, and while it's on the field, all damage that I would take, he absorbs. And then when he leaves the field, I get Orichalcos Shuneros, and Shuneros' attack is equal to how much ever damage that this little dude absorbed while it was on the field. And when Orichalcos Shuneros is summoned, his effect then activates, which summons Aristeros and Dexia. Aristeros is always 300 more defense than the monster that it's battling with, and Dexia is always 300 more attack than the position of the monster he is battling with. And then, if Orichalcos Shuneros does not exist on the field, the arms get destroyed. Obviously, if you can tell, this Shuneros is the body, and Dex and Aristeros are his arms. And then, if Shuneros leaves the field, we get Divine Serpent. And if Divine Serpent leaves the field, I automatically lose the game. But Divine Serpent has a huge attack with a winner-take-all playstyle, and a huge cost for attacking. He has infinite attack and defense. And when he gets special summoned successfully, I have to dump my entire hand in the graveyard, and I have to lose all of my life points. However, as long as this card remains face up on the field, I remain in the game. Which means you can't, affect me with win conditions until you get rid of this. And if I want... It has infinite attack, but in order to attack with it, I have to mill 10 cards. So if this guy's on the field late game, I'm probably not going to be able to do anything with him. Next up, we're running one Gygus. He's a pretty good stall wall, because every time he gets destroyed, he just comes right on back. And he remembers his attack, plus 500 every time he comes back. So you can keep smashing him in, and then keep racking up attack points. If I use this effect on my opponent's turn, I have to skip my next draw phase. But if I just keep ramming him in the same turn, I only have to skip one draw phase. Next up, we've got the Orichalcos Rescue Rabbit, courtesy of O'Malley 1990. It's basically Rescue Rabbit, but it's got Orichalcos in the name, so it has better synergy with other cards in the deck. And we use the rabbit with 3 Orichalcos Soldiers, your basic 2000 attacker normal monsters. And next up is kind of another cool custom concept I made with this deck, but we've got Dark Dragoonity Ducks and Dark Dragoonity Phalanx. Back before Dragon Moonbeam was banned, Dragoonities were my favorite archetype, and I kind of wanted to make a homage to them in this deck. So if you know how Dragoonities work, you can figure out these guys. I designed them to work with the Orichalcos field spell. I'll give you that hint. Next up, Tyler the Fourth Swordsman. Another card made by O'Malley 1990. Thanks a lot, man. When this thing is successfully summoned, I excavate the top 5 cards in my deck. Then, I add any Orichalcos cards to my hand, and the rest go to the graveyard. Also, I am unaffected by the Seal of Orichalcos, and you can only attack me directly when the Seal of you can only select him as an attack target. I'm sorry. This vid is kind of impromptu, so I'm having brain farts. But you can only select him as an attack target when Orichalcos is on the field. That's what I meant to say. And I'm a 2000 beater, so that's pretty sweet. Next up, we got some new stuff here. Mephiles the Dark. I'm not going to explain his effect. He has a mysterious effect. But if I get 4 monsters in my graveyard, watch out. If you remember Sonic 06, you remember this guy. Same with Pure Iblis. He's kind of just a wall, but he does go with this guy. Last monster is Mirror Night Calling. Ritual summons with the appropriate ritual spell, and when it's summoned successfully, I get 4 Mirror Night tokens. And these tokens each come in with a shield counter, and when they would be destroyed, their shield counter gets removed instead, And also, if they have a shield counter while they're battling, they match the attack of the monster they are battling. And then as long as this is on the field, I can keep replacing shield counters. So I've seen a lot of people try to go for take out the knights first. You actually want to destroy this first, because this makes the knights live longer. And that's the monsters. For the spell cards, we run 3 Seal of Orichalcos. The whole reason this deck was made. It's a spell speed 4. Pitch it from my hand to negate and destroy anything. But its main function is as a field spell. All my monsters get 500 extra attack. And my back row becomes treated also as monster card zones. You cannot attack monsters in my back row unless my front row is empty. And I can only take your soul if this is active. So if I don't play this as a field spell, you're safe. Next up, we've got the second layer. I gain 500 life points during each of my standby phase for every monster I have on the field. That's pretty much all this piece of crap does. This is really only here to absorb the effects of the first seal, and so that I can play the third layer, which is Tritos, which is when things get crazy, because it makes all my monsters immune to your spells and traps, which is amazing. Next up, we need some search support to search out these Orichalcos cards, so we've got Double Chosen Destiny. This card is pretty cool. I pay 1,000 life points, and then I can either bypass the destruction conditions of any Orichalcos card in the field and destroy it, or I can add any Orichalcos card from my deck to my hand. Very cool card. And then next up we've got Orichalcos Eye, which is basically a continuous Chosen Destiny. Just once a turn, I can pay 1,000 life points to search an Orichalcos card. Next up we've got Foolish Burial. Some of the monsters in this deck are better off in the graveyard. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I did have to bring this card back just because of the power creep. But I brought back, and I'm running 2 of a Nibelung's Treasure. This card is quite the bullcrap card. I understand that. But the ability to Dark Hole my opponent and then draw 5 fresh cards is necessary for this deck, since most of the cards in this deck can be dead draws. So what this does, it lets me activate any spell card in my deck on your side of the field. Then I draw 5 cards. It is the draw 5 part that makes it really imbalanced, but it is kind of necessary. So 2 treasure, no more. And we're running double Dark Hole. Remember I said this was geared to the new ban list, which is best used in conjunction with Treasure. Then we also run Raigeki, and a Snatch Steal, and 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Last spell card of the deck, Orichalcos Mirror, is used to ritual summon Mirror Knight Calling. That's all this thing does. Then for the traps, Solemn Warning, Ankle Pulse. Custom traps, double Orichalcos Thisia. How this card works, it's kind of like Icarus Attack. I attribute an Orichalcos monster to send up to 2 cards my opponent controls to the graveyard. Very cool concept. Then we've got the last trap in the deck, Chaos Time Warp. I'm not going to explain what this does, but if you can tell by the artwork, it does involve Mephiles. So now onto the extra deck. We've got Goliath here, new card, not going to explain his effect. He is also mysterious. Then we have Orichalcos Shield Utopia, who I've explained in so many videos that I'm not going to explain it now, because you probably all know what he does. A lot of these Orichalcos cards, you probably know what they do already. Then we have a new mysterious card here, Orichalcos Tuneric. Not going to explain what he does either. If you want to know what the mysterious... I'm sorry, guys, really. If you want to know what these new mysterious cards do, you're going to have to face them in a duel. That's all I'm going to say. Next up, we got kind of a joke here, but I run triple Trollolo. Yes, Edward Hill, may he rest in peace, is in my deck. This card is intended just to be there, kind of to stop OTKs. Because whenever my opponent declares a direct attack, I can special summon one of these from my extra deck. They can get replay and destroy it though. Again, so he's good but not crazy. And then we've got Solaris, the Eternal Sun. If you put the pieces together, you can probably figure out how this is made. Then we run 2 Dark Dragoonity Knight, Vajrayana, obviously to go with the Dark Dragoonity cards in the main deck. And we got Beals of the Diabolic Dragons, Utopia for the Xyzes. We got Utopia, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, Double Castel, and the Orichalcos Dragon. Very good. This thing is basically it's an Orichalcos Eye with 3,000 attack. Very amazing card. That's why I only run 1, because using 3 of these was kind of overpowered. But that is the Orichalcos deck. I will have new rules posted in the description. Thumbs up this video and favorite it to show your support. There is a side deck for this, but I hardly ever go into it, so I find it irrelevant to show. And Mewtwo Overkill out. And if you run an Orichalcos deck, keep making the Great Leviathan as happy as you can. Keep capturing those souls. And I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.